All right, everybody. Well, welcome to another episode of the All In Recruiting Podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest. We met at a conference. Well, I don't even remember the name of it, but I think it's
Transform.
called Transform.
Yep.
Transform. And yeah, just super awesome to be able to have you as a guest, Nicole Quinn Miles. Nicole, introduce yourself to the world here.
Sure. Enrique's World. I am Nicole Quinn Miles. I'm an employee benefits consultant with Marsh McLennan Agency. I have been in employee benefits for well over 20 years, and I am passionate about helping HR leaders, CFO leaders, and employees optimize their employee benefits programs and really meet the needs of employees. That's,
Yes.
that's
And
my
I
jam.
think I wanted to have you on, Nicole, obviously, because you're awesome. And B, like, I think this is one of those parts of recruiting that sometimes isn't very talked about, put out there. I think we live in a time where things are just intense, up and down, and this and layoffs and
Yeah.
how to get a job, how to network. But I think employee benefits are huge. So today we're going to talk about a few different things. First, I want you to kind of share with us your world, how you got to where you are. Like, why do benefits matter to you?
Sure. So I am a mom of 4 boys, a military wife, and one of 6 kids. So family and connection to people is the root of who I am. I got into benefits. Funny enough, I was a recruiter at the time and went
Uh-oh.
in and thought I was helping them recruit for a receptionist or administrative position. But I was pretty persistent and obnoxious and was calling it after 5 on a Friday just to see who was there, to see who I could help. And the guy was like, I love what you're doing. Come in, talk to me Monday morning. And I showed up and he was like, I want to offer you a sales job. And I was like, oh, I've been in sales. I did gym sales and I was a personal trainer at the time. And I was like, oh, sure. I can do sales, but I kind of like
Yeah.
what I'm doing now. He was like, what about insurance? And I was like, absolutely not. Like that's the least sexy topic I've ever heard. No, thank you. And he said, it's a great way to help people and make
Mm.
money. Shadow me for a day. If you like what I do, awesome. And so what I found was for me, it was my chance to be strategic and really dial into my math and my nerdy self. Whereas also being that outgoing connector of people at the same time. So I was able to leverage both my strengths and really build a beautiful career.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now you're all over the country talking in front of people, talking about employee benefits. I love it.
I am. I'm an advocate for our industry. We need young women in our industry,
Yeah.
especially. Passionate because if we do the right work, if consultants and employee benefits do the right work and really drive healthcare the way it's meant to be driven, it can be a change maker for families.
For sure. It's definitely been for me. All right, let's get into the first topic. Let's talk about the role of comprehensive benefits. I don't even know what that means, but I'm kidding. Comprehensive benefits and kind of its role in attracting top talent. Tell me
Yeah.
about like that world and what it looks like today, 2025, post pandemic. Why is it
Yeah, I
important?
think you hit on it when we started the conversation. I think, benefits have been this afterthought thought, like, here's the
Mhm,
job. And by the way, here's this
mhm,
add on thing. But employees are demanding more from their employers than ever before. And where they
mhm.
get their paycheck, they want to get their solutions, right? If you're paying me, and that's where my income is coming from to take care of whatever I need to take care of in my
Huh,
life, I'm going to lean on you to provide me solutions to other life work issues and problems. And so what we're finding are very sophisticated, educated employees that just
huh.
want to be able to affordably take care of their family's healthcare and well-being. So
So give me some examples. What's working right now? What's not working
yeah, what we're
in the
finding
world?
is mental health, right? Instead of just slapping
Mm,
on an employee's assistance program for 3 free visits to a therapist, right? And
mm,
then navigating that, really deep wellness based programs. And that can differ from organizations, right? Healthcare and healthcare leaders need a set
Right.
of benefits that attract and retain their top talent. Manufacturers need flexible work schedules
Mm,
and really educated based offerings. So it's really dependent on the vertical or the industry that folks are working in. But things like IVF, menopause
mhm,
support,
mhm.
mental health, student loan repayment was big a few years ago, and is being addressed and coming up again with the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that Trump
Yeah.
passed back in July. So we're seeing really specific to employees solutions where it's not just a band-aid slapped on and pick from what might work for you. Now it's really
Yeah.
integrated. They have employers are forming benefits groups and getting live feedback and to your point, recruiters are having to talk about benefits just as much as they are salary.
Yeah. It's very important. I mean, I talk to dozens of people every week, and you cover the salary, but then it's like, what are the benefits? I guess I'm a little bit old enough to know that there's these different kinds of benefits back in the day. My in-laws, they uh they live kind of like the all American dream. Like
Yeah.
they worked at a company for like 30 years and they got their pension and they retired. They're
Yep.
awesome. They're like RVing around the country. So cool for them. What do you see as like the biggest kind of difference between those days where it's like you could work here for 30 years and get a
Yeah.
pension and do your thing, and now it's maybe people work at a company 2 years, maybe
Yeah, that
three?
loyalty on both ends is no longer the fabric for many
Mm,
organizations. For some organizations, it is. They have sustained that culture, but for the most part, we have found that the employees are not loyal to employers because the employers aren't loyal to them. Right? In order
right,
to be loyal, you have to be acknowledged and you have to be supported and you have to be
right.
heard and valued, and sometimes that
Right.
value gets lost. And so employee
Right, right.
benefits is one of the main factors that employers can show employees how they are valued, that they are a team member, that they are part of what they're building.
And do you think we're trending in a positive direction for the employee? Like, I always compare sometimes recruiting to like the housing market. It's like a buyer's market or a seller's
Yeah,
market.
yeah,
And I think recruiting could be like a company market or a job seeker
I could see
market.
that. Yeah.
And where do you see it, like, in the realm of benefit? It sounds like we're doing some really cool things and innovative things around, mental health and all these things, but some in some industries that I notice, it's not as much. Like, now companies are more like, "Here's the deal, here's the role, here's the shift, here's what you get." Because during COVID, it was like, "Yeah, whatever you want, go
Yeah.
wherever, do whatever, live wherever." And I've seen a little bit of a pendulum swing back to, hey, here's what we are offering, here's what it is. So where do you see the trend? Are we trending positively? What industries do you
I
see
think the
working?
organizations that are dialing into employee needs and offering
Hmm.
holistic benefits, right? Social aspects, financial aspects, wellness
Right.
aspects, in addition to health, um, they are holding on to their people, right? The folks
Mm.
that are slapping the band-aid and offering benefits like they used to, right? Or
What's a
not.
Band-Aid? What's a Band-Aid, Nicole?
A
I wanna know
Band-Aid
what
is
a
like,
Band-Aid is.
here's your health plan, $5,000 deductible, you have dental,
Yeah.
you can pay for vision, maybe you have life if you wanna pay for it yourself, and that's it. And then
Mm,
nothing ever changes, nothing's ever unique, nothing ever feels personal to me. So why would I stay
mm,
in an organization if it's the same as everywhere else I would go in terms of benefits? There's no stick there. There's no understanding, there's no
yeah.
value.
Whenever I've changed, like, full-time jobs, that you do the comparison, like, between your spouse, if you have one, and your
Yes.
new
Yeah.
job, and you're like, "Oh," it's always so hard to decipher it.
It
I
is.
wish I wish there was, like, a game I could play where I could just, "Here's the company, here's the other thing, and which one's gonna be less expensive?" Like,
Well, what
it's
might
like
be cool is
hieroglyphics.
if we have any AI, folks listening, there's a
Yeah.
million companies coming in, and I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
where AI and recruiting and talent management and benefits, intersect could be this really
Mm.
cool educational based, component to that. Right now, that's why you have to partner with the right consultant to make
Mm,
sure that the education is a huge piece of your benefits and wellness plans, not just at open enrollment when folks are
right.
picking plans, but throughout the year and even on a self-service basis.
Mhm. This is where you plug yourself. Partner with me,
Yeah,
Nicole.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's next. So let's say a company has that really dynamic, um, benefits package that's custom. That's like, hey, I might need this. This other employee might need that. Let's do that. We attracted the talent. Now they're here. Like, what about think about let's talk about the benefits as a retention strategy. Like, how do we keep them with
Yeah.
the war for talent, all these things? How do we keep people
By
around?
listening to your employees, right? By having a culture in which you things can change and move and
Mm,
adapt to employees, and oftentimes it could be a benefits focus group. It can be HR and talent leaders saying, "Here's what people are asking for." Right? When I'm interviewing,
mhm,
50 people in 2 weeks, like the consistent thing is this, and I see we don't offer that. Can that be a thing, right? So just opening up the lines of
right.
communication among your whole team to really make sure you're hitting the mark, because you can put together a great benefits program, but if you can't, if it's not the right fit, and you're not getting feedback, it's hard to know if it's the right thing.
Have you ever worked with recruiters to tell them what they could ask or what they should or ought to ask in an interview that's within the bounds of the law, and to
Yeah.
ask people, "Hey, what benefits matter to you? Is that even legal?" Like, how would you ask that?
Yeah, I don't know how I'd ask that because I'm not a recruiter. But what I would do is I think saying what types of things are important to you when you
Yeah,
when you look at a benefits package. What are the top three things you're hoping for, aiming for, needing in order to make that change to XYZ company? So that's
right,
that's not off the table. And I think teams, strategic teams, meaning CFOs, HR leaders, and talent, when they all have a seat at the table, they really hit the mark a lot sooner.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really important for recruiters to really be transparent, to like today more than ever, just be really transparent. Like I work with my clients where I have their benefits package, and when I have a candidate that's like really, they might disclose something during the interview where
Yeah.
they say, I'm XYZ thing is happening to me. I would love to really understand the benefits. Then I just share it with them. Like
Yeah.
it's there. I'm not like disclosing any,
Yeah, well, and you're
secret
building
details.
trust. I have
Yeah,
I
right.
have a better
Yeah.
relationship with my recruiter oftentimes
Mhm,
for that
mhm.
first year than I do with my new team sometimes,
Yep,
right? Because 'Cause you've gone through
yep,
that process of building that trust, that fit, that
yeah,
and so you're talking about all sorts of things that I would never talk about at work, but I need to
right.
make sure it's the right fit for me and my family.
Yeah, I just choose to believe, like, I just give it all away. Like, here's the range for the
You need
salary,
to
here's the benefits,
transparency,
and
right?
here's, like, where some clients are like, "Hey, we're in the office." We're
Yeah.
in like, in the first interview, "In the
Yeah,
office."
yeah,
Like, "You need to come in." "Oh, you don't wanna come in? Probably not the right role for you.
yeah,
Let's keep moving on, let's look at other stuff," you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Um, I just think that we're in a different time it's a different time right now in
Yeah, we don't have to
recruiting.
force fit ourselves because there's too much
No.
flexibility now
And I
for the
think the
employee. Yeah.
benefits are huge. Benefits are like, we don't have pensions anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing, really. And I think the evolution of that and, like, that going away and like, what really matters for people, I've seen, companies, you probably know more about this, like, companies that help people buy their first home and, like, with the
Yes.
lower interest rate.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Like, if I was a company doing that, I would shout that from the mountaintops.
Yeah, a
"Hey,
lot
you
of
get a
folks are
3% or
yeah.
4% rate here, like,
Well,
come
that's
work
that
here."
education and really meeting the needs
Mhm.
of their workforce, right? So if you're
Right,
putting together a financial wellness package where an employee
right.
can use outside help, not outside of their employer, because HR doesn't want to sit and go through an employee's bills and challenges and medical debt or housing debt or college debt, right? What we see though is people will cash out their 401ks. And then you're like, oh
Mhm.
shoot. now there's a
Yeah.
problem. So we're trying
Right.
to now implement, and financial wellness has been this year just my big push because it's making such a difference, and it's impacting people so quickly,
Yeah.
that it's you've got to be dialed into financial wellness, and that could be anything from, like I was saying earlier, fertility treatments to
Yeah.
time off,
Yeah.
flexible work arrangements to childcare situations to divorces and all that type of stuff,
Mhm.
and having other
Mhm.
types of money and allocations that they can
Right.
pull from to cover those unseen uh, expenses.
I love it. So good. Okay, so then, I mean, you kind of touched on this a little bit already, but leveraging benefits, communication to enhance talent acquisition. You've mentioned AI, you've mentioned groups. What should companies be trying to do or pushing towards?
They know the perfect employee demographic, what that looks like to them,
Hmm.
right? From that data, they can pull other data, right? I'm big into data driving decisions and employee benefits. It's so
Data,
important.
data means numbers, right? Data means like numbers
Data,
and
analytics, demographics, age, sex, race,
yeah,
all
yeah.
sorts of things, right? And we talk about that in benefits because different people need different stuff, right? We have four or
Right.
five generations in the workplace. What a boomer and what a Gen X and what a I don't even know them all. Millennial all need right now are
I
different. But if you
all I know is
structure your
I'm an old millennial with gray hair in my beard, and it's funny. No, it's my father-in-law.
yeah,
He retired, right? He worked for a company for 30 years, retired, and to kind of like keep him going and like kind of his mind active, he got a job at like a grocery store
yeah,
in like the meat department. Just like he knows everybody in the town, super awesome guy. And he would come visit. And he would tell me like these stories of like, oh, like these young kids are coming around and they don't know the first thing about XYZ, and I'm like, it's a different world, but like for that young person, it's different things are important to them than what
yeah.
are important to my father-in-law, who's like lived a whole
And the way
life, you
you
know?
communicate, that too, like the
Hmm.
way you communicate when you're, selecting young talent or early career folks versus a
Yeah.
seasoned executive, right? Those
Yep.
conversations sound different and the needs are different.
You
And
just
that's the
gotta know
case
your
in
audience.
benefits
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So
Hmm.
you have to know as the employer who your people are, right? What does your
Yeah.
team look like and what is important to them? And the only way you can do that is listening, conversations, and consistent revamping of your plan.
You've mentioned listening a lot today, a few times. And I think, I mean, I know what you mean by that, right?
Yeah.
But like I think, all right, we've gone through our topics. Now I want to switch over and let's for a little bit we're gonna talk to like the employer, and then for a little
Okay.
bit we're gonna talk to like the job seeker.
Okay.
So first let's talk to the employer. You've said listening a few times.
I have.
Be as blunt and as straight up with like the employer what the French toast does listening mean.
Yeah. It means,
Who's listening? What the
yeah,
French are they doing? Like all these things.
everybody's listening, right? So it is creating a strategy, right? Mr. Employer, what does your vision for your company look like? Right? We're not
Hmm.
even talking about benefits. But in order to be a good consultant, I have to know what that business vision is. I have to know how their business works, how they make
Hmm.
money, right? How they
Hmm.
attract talent currently, how they keep talent. What does that look like right now?
Hmm.
Are they doing a good job or a bad job? Back to the data analytics, right? We can
Right.
pull all those numbers and see where they're falling short, but it's being honest with themselves, so listening to what's going on around you and not just putting solutions that worked back in 2005 and then forgetting about them, right? And then
Yep.
we still have the same type of thoughts and the same type of benefits that we do 20 years from now. That's not being in touch with your people. That's not listening to the needs of your people.
And if I'm and I'm pretend I'm the employer. I'm the employer. Well, Nicole, great. Yeah, I want to listen to my people and who's coming, who might come to work for us. Who do I'm a CEO. I got 20,000. Like I can't listen
Yeah.
all day.
No, of
Who
course you
should I
can.
hire to listen, Nicole?
No, you need a strategic seat at the table, right? We need CFO and visionaries, right?
Uh huh.
At the
Uh huh.
table. We need talent at the table. We need HR at the table. We need total rewards folks at the table. And that's your strategic board, right?
Uh huh.
If you
Uh huh.
as the business owner or CFO, you have a strategic vision of where you want your business to go. You can't get there without the people and the right
Right.
people. How are you going to attract, train, educate, and keep those right people? Right?
And where does this land? Like, who has this under their job description of like, "All right, I'm going to lead this. Like, I'm going to work with Nicole
It's a
to help
board,
lead this thing."
right? It's a board or a focus
Mm,
group or a, I don't know,
mhm.
everyone names it something a little bit different.
Uh-huh.
But you have to have more than just one person, right? Because
Right.
what makes sense to the CFO at, whatever age and experience he is versus
Yeah.
what makes sense to the young new HR generalist might be two different things, which is why they all kind of need a seat at that table.
Right. Okay, and then how often are we doing this listening thing? Like, is this like, are recruiters bringing me data to share with me what benefits they're seeing that are important? Is my HR person looking at the internal people and they're
No, a
saying, "Did
CFO
you
is gonna be like,
survey?"
"What are you talking about?" Right? Like, I have so
Right,
many more important strategic aspects of my
right,
job, and okay, I don't
uh-huh,
want you bringing me data reports,
right, yeah,
every week, every month, every right? But
mhm,
quarterly or annually or some type of touch base, right? And depending on the culture and depending
yeah,
on how close that vision is to the strategies that are in place determines how often those needs need to be met
right,
and changed. But as a recruiter and total rewards person, yeah, that needs to be dialed in more frequently.
mhm. Okay, so hiring people, business leaders, you heard it here. Listen to your people. Get a crew, get a little gang, whatever you want to call it, together of the people that have
Or
insight in in this world, and like put it together a few times a year so you can
yeah.
know what the heartbeat of your culture is when it comes to benefits and what people are wanting. Okay, now we're gonna talk to the job seeker because I think it's a little bit different because they I think, coming from a recruiter, I think I give advice to job seekers all the time on how to maneuver through the
Yeah.
interview process, the conversations, the networking things, all these things. And sometimes, not all the times, there will be certain instances where someone might bring up benefits, and to me, I'm like, "What do you what?" Like, and I will say, it's a little bit when I give the advice, I'm like, "Hey, you gotta be strategic and have, like, self-awareness and know
Yeah.
when to ask about X, Y, because things are important." Like, IVF is important. I think that's
Yeah,
crucially
or
important.
you were saying it earlier, like, is it location-wise? Am I remote or am
Yeah,
I
right. All these
expecting right?
things.
Like, that has to be part of the conversation. It's the same as benefit,
Right.
no different.
I had a person I interviewed a while ago for a role I was working on, and man, they were so good. They were like incredibly talented. They had all these skills. They fit the bill on all the different things, skills wise and competencies and all that. And this person multiple times drilled into me the import. Like they didn't say it's like literally important to them, but they really emphasized in their communication with me
Ah,
if the client or if company I was hiring for, if they had a shower in the building that they could use. And I was just like, "Oh, I actually don't know. I should probably ask if they
yeah,
have the shower in the I've been to the office, but I've been to the building. I don't know. I need to go
it's like
I need to
different
go
things
look."
matter to different people, right?
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
like, "Okay." So I went and and I emailed the manager. I was like, "Hey," and like I had to say, like, "Hey, I spoke with the candidate." I didn't share who it was. I was like, "Hey, I spoke with the candidate. Solid candidate." Like they want to know if there's a shower
yeah,
in the building. It wasn't like this is the person. Here's here's they're great for the role. I need you to talk with them, which was what I wanted. I was like, "Hey, they want to know if there's before they move forward. They want to know if there's a shower."
yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, there is." I was like, "Great. Let me see." So I, got the interview process moving along. And then they met with the manager. And with the manager, like the manager's feedback was like, they're great. But all they talked about was the shower. So it's like, so when do we help the job seeker understand? How do
Yeah.
you communicate about benefits in a winsome way that's not going to make me like, dude,
The
we,
same
we
way yeah, the same way you would, about the job itself, right? Like, what do you need the shower for? Like,
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
you going for a run first thing in the morning? Do you like to work out during your lunch break? Are you a menopausal woman that has
Right.
hot flashes all day long. And by 3 o'clock
Right.
before your board meeting, like you want to rinse or something, right? Like there could be a million reasons
Yeah, right.
why
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
would want to shower.
100%.
But understanding their why, right? They kept
Yeah,
bringing it up so they weren't heard, right? They kept
yeah,
bringing it up because it wasn't solved for them. So what you can do as the recruiter is lean in, right? They said it was an issue for them.
yeah,
Figure out why, what, and how to make that accommodation
yeah.
so that they feel
Well,
good about it
yeah,
and don't consistently harp on that one bit because they're
yeah,
harping on it because it's important to them.
I asked them, I was like, "Oh, yeah, like, is there a reason why you specifically need a shower, this and that?" And they were like, "I ride my bike to work."
Yeah,
I'm like, "Great,
there you
yeah,
go.
that
Yeah,
makes sense. I've done that, and that makes sense." So, that was the reason. I was like, "Okay." But this is what I'm trying to understand is because again, I agree. Benefits, some things are really important for people, but I think sometimes candidates don't engage it at the right time of the interview, or they emphasize it in a way that's like it takes away from like the job and like the interview process. So
yeah,
how can we help, like you said, as recruiters, listen better to people, open up a window during the interview process where we share things about benefits so that they can so that the antennas can go off for the job seeker so that they know, oh, this is my window to
right, right.
ask questions about this rather than in the middle of the interview when we're talking about like the
Yeah, like you can
technicality of the
even
role.
when you're getting them ready for the interview and setting them up,
Yeah.
like, what type of accommodations are there any
Yeah.
specific accommodations you need, right?
Mhm.
It's my job as a recruiter to make sure this is the best fit for you, Mr. Candidate. Like, what does that look like to you, right?
Right.
What are your 3 most important things about your day? What does that look like, right? Is it coffee?
Mhm.
Like, do we need to make sure there's a coffee machine or a
Right.
kitchen? Is it a shower? Is it a is it a place to walk at lunchtime? Is it a gym in the
Right.
building? Any of those things, right? And or a ton of other things, but it's like, okay, let's have that accommodations conversation before the interview. Let's have the benefits conversation before the interview. And then say, is there anything that you're worried about accommodations or benefits moving forward that you would want to discuss with the hiring panel or
Right.
whatever that looks like? And then
That's a
and
good,
then
yeah.
maybe that's like a way to make them feel comfortable where they're not sounding anxious, unsure, and repetitive in the interview.
Yeah. There's some when I send out emails to like set people up, I will share with them, hey, this interview is virtual, if it is virtual. But I always share like if you don't have access to a computer or a phone with the video, it's
Yeah.
okay. Let me know. Like I try to give
Yeah.
people like a little bit of like, hey, it's all right. I just I guess when I going back to the job seeker, I want people to know how to balance the work because it's the employer who has the benefits. They have the information,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And it's the candidate who wants the information. And I think it's really important to like it's like a little bit of a dance. Like how can you bring them together in a way for both to benefit from the information that doesn't detract from the experience of the candidate and the employer who's like trying to find that right person.
Yeah, and I think that's the relationship between the candidate, the hiring team, and the HR, right? Because
Mhm.
you see the candidate on the front end, HR has to
Mhm.
deal with them on the back end, right? So the conversations, right? They have to meet the expectations that you set for the employee, right? The HR is that kind of first line of that's not what I was told, right? Or
Right.
or
Yeah.
or I was told there was this, where is it? How do I get it? Whatever the
Right.
benefit or situation is. So I think it's just that internal team, again, communication and listening, but
Right.
also the recruiter being part of that will help
Yeah.
dial in culture, budget, uh, and those types of things together.
I love it. That's great. So good. Well, Nicole, that you've just given us like an MBA for benefits. Like people employ I feel like if you're listening right now and you're an employer, you've gotten some really free consulting. You're welcome. You're
Yes.
welcome. You should
And
like
if you need more, give me
go
a call.
yeah, yeah. No, for sure. That's one of the things I tell people like how can people find you, Nicole? How can people like work with you, learn from you, all those things.
Yeah, so I am really big on content, trying to put lessons and stuff out there, right?
Yeah.
So you can find me on LinkedIn, Nicole Quinn Miles. I'm also Instagram, Her View. Her View is my women's branded events and group that I try
Nice.
to empower in our community here in DC. So reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm always here for one-off
Yeah.
questions or a little bit of thought leadership. If you're going through something and you just want an outsider point of view or idea, happy to provide it
So
anytime.
good. If you want to hire Nicole to come speak at your conference about benefits, hit her up,
Yes,
reach
would
out.
love that too.
Awesome. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for being on the All In Recruiting podcast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll get this, chopped up and posted in a little bit. And yeah, so cool. I think this is like super important. Benefits are important and people should understand them and know, and both sides, employers and job seekers should
Yeah,
know
it
how
really
to,
helps that
yeah.
retention piece, right?
Oh
They
yeah.
have a good understanding from the beginning. You're not getting them in 90 days and then they're leaving. So
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nicole. And we'll see you on the other one.
Yeah, sounds
Next
good.
episode. I don't know how
Yeah.
to.
All right.
Cool.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. What a great episode with Nicole on the All In Recruiting podcast, talking about benefits and their importance. We got to talk about the employer side, the job seeker side, and everything in between, and how things have changed and what you as the employer or the job seeker should be doing in regards to benefits, and kind of how to incorporate benefits into your culture, into your company, and talk about it and really listen to your employees about benefits. Make sure to click and subscribe wherever you might be listening to this or watching this or hearing this. Comment. We'd love to hear from you. Make sure to follow the Purple Acorn Network and tell your friends. See you on the next one.